Welcome to RedEye. It's like Game of Thrones. If by Thrones you mean nude Parcheesi. Let's go to TV's Andy Levy for our pregame report. Hey, Andy, what's coming up on tonight's show? And don't mail it in.
Thanks, Greg. Coming up on the big show, an adulterer and the sister of a comedy show host square off in a congressional election. Yet, sadly, only one of them loses. Plus, does carrying a guitar make a man look sexier? Well, as a keyboard player, I can assure you that, sadly, the answer is yes. And finally, who's the most trusted person in America? Sadly, it's a guy who pretends to be other people for a living. Greg?
You know, Andy, you're Andy Levy. You don't have to preface anything with sadly.
I thought it was nice the way I used the word sadly all 3 times there.
I know, but see, you don't have to because you're Andy Levy. Everything is sadly.
I don't follow.
Why should you? Go away.
Let's welcome our guest.
Was she so cute that Care Bears put Jedediah stickers on their notebooks? I'm here tonight with author, columnist, and Fox News contributor Jedediah. She has a lot of vowels in her name. And he's smarter than a wise elephant stuffed inside an owl. Kind of disgusting, really. It's Georgia attorney Patrick Millsaps, Georgia. So if you're driving through there, call him. And in Peru, he's considered bean dip. It's my repulsive sidekick, Bill Schultz. And of insightful commentary where a set of dumbbells, I'd pump him in front of a mirror with my shirt off. Sitting right next to me, Daily Beast's cultural news editor, Michael Moynihan.
A-Block, The Lead. That's the first story. Hey, here's an idea. Don't suck for once.
Wow. He was nice for a week. He was nice for a week, and then he changed his mind. All right, disembodied voice. Voters didn't care about the affair. Yep, there's life after cheating on your wife. Mark Sanford has won his old congressional seat in a place called South Carolina 4 years after a scandal torpedoed his particular career, or his political career, or his particular political career. Who's listening to me anyway? It's 3 in the morning. The former governor defeated Democrat Elizabeth Colbert Bush in a district that hasn't elected a Dem in over 3 decades. To put that in perspective, that's more than 30 years, Jedediah. Shut up. His comeback couldn't be more comebackier. In 2009, he vanished for 5 days, telling his staff he was hiking the Appalachian Trail. Might have been a euphemism. He returned to admit he'd been with his mistress in Argentina, seen here looking blurry. A lady he's now engaged to. Well, good for him. Sanford later paid a 70-grand ethics fine for using public money to fly for personal reasons. Political analysts noted that voters stuck with Sanford, much like this baby duck sticks with his cat. What did I say, Bill? Gay marriage.
It's great.
No, this is what happens.
You gays.
First,
that's better than a cat and a cat.
First you have gay marriage, now you got cats and ducks together. I told you this was going to happen, America. I told you.
It's a new America.
All right.
A better America.
Yeah, it is a slippery slope, and especially with a duck. Patrick, okay, how was his comeback imaginable? Because his scandal made global news. He was a punchline for about, I don't know, a month. Was it just because he's running in a Republican district, or did he have no challenger?
I have no idea. Let's first congratulate. Yeah, we do. Anthony Weiner is very excited now,
yeah.
and who knew we have a chance for John Edwards versus Schwarzenegger in 2016. So, you know, I mean, I'm sure this is okay for the Senate because the Republicans keep the seat, but. You know, marriage lost a little bit today. We keep putting these guys up. I mean, on the conservative side, when he won the primary, there was arguments like, well, at least his wife didn't have cancer.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're starting to compare whose affair was worse,
yeah.
You've got kind of problems.
Yeah, that's true, Jedediah. Would you have voted for him?
Oh, gosh, I would have. He was not the ideal candidate. But the bottom line was his opponent was a bad candidate. Yeah. She didn't do the meet and greet. She didn't do the. She didn't sit down and talk to voters. She didn't go on the stoop and shake people's hands and say, I understand your needs. She was a bad candidate. She didn't play the candidate well. She assumed that Sanford was going to have these character issues. That was going to take him down.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to do any of the retail politics. And as a result, she said, well, we don't have to do this work. She should have realized this is a GOP district, a strong GOP district, and people may look at policy more than they look at character in a race like this.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I don't think this is the same as Weiner, because during Weiner's scandal, he writhed and tried every possible way to get out of it. He trashed people. He made he smeared. But was it because this guy just gave in to the scandal so quickly?
Yeah, but it's also that he sent pictures of his dong to like random women on Twitter. Mark Sanford fell in love with a lady, and you know he's married and he has kids and the rest of it. I really hope my wife's not watching. I don't want to dismiss it like, oh, it's fine. I mean, it's okay because he fell in love. It was kind of sweet and everything, and you know she was there on the election night, so it's lasting. It's different than Weiner, also because Weiner's a
yeah, that's the thing.
And, you know,
I mean, it's like maybe there is a way that you can get through a scandal correctly, and he figured it out. But man, I didn't see this one coming. Bill, are there just not enough politicians, or did we stop making new ones? Because we keep using the same ones.
Well,
Exactly right.
I think there's something to be said about that, because the ones that are thinking about getting into politics haven't gotten caught yet. These guys are caught. They're like, might as well stick around. No one else is going to go in this maelstrom. I will stay here, and they'll have to vote on me. This guy could have cut off the head of a bum, held it up to the camera, and said, this guy is going to be my senior aide. They would have been like, oh, it's a heavily Republican county. We'll vote on for him anyway. But that's disagreeable. Right?
And the other thing, I mean, it was 4 years ago, which seems such a long time. And to put that in perspective, Bill, you're going to be dead in 3.
Wow.
That brought a pall over the air.
It did.
My mom is watching.
Your mom stopped watching after the whole drool incident. No, you. In fact, America stopped. By the way, that was our best ratings of like forever.
You're welcome.
Yeah, America needs to see what comes out of your mouth.
America likes the fluids. Maybe I'll run.
Here's but no. This goes back to my one point, Michael.
Yeah.
What? Maybe I could. I never thought I could run for anything, given my past.
No,
maybe I'm wrong.
No, that used to be the thing, is that I can't join the CIA, I can't never be president because all those things I did, in my senior year in Albania or something. I mean, it's no longer, because we're running out of candidates, and it's like such a horrible job to be a politician. That's why it's so heavily populated by horrible people. Yeah. Because I mean, who wants that job? So.
But let me make the you kind of gave him Weiner Sanford a pass and Weiner's a back. But the fact of the matter is that not only would he was caught, but he lied about it. I mean, if you're going,
and it was a weird lie.
Right, like Appalachian Trail.
I want to say the two things that outraged everyone during this was that there was a politician who lied and was misusing taxpayer dollars.
But he said that he was a guy that slept on a cot in his office and was so fiscally irresponsible.
With that Argentinian lady.
You know what it really was, though? It was the way he besmirched the Appalachian Trail. There's a lot of kids that just aren't going to go there because it's been smeared by infidelity.
But here's the good news.
I won't hike there.
Here's the good news. Those on the Appalachian Trail do not know what besmirch means. For all they know, it's a compliment.
Why do you have to smear an entire group of people when you drool?
You drool. You can smear my drool on my person.
I know.
But also, the other bag thing that we gotta not overlook here is, as creepy and awful as Weiner was, he didn't hide behind religion. And the fact of the matter is, I get the being forgiven in Christianity. I understand that. But this guy would quote his minister, recite Proverbs, and name drop God like he was at some Hollywood party and talking about, I don't know, Scorsese. And he would do that at every turn to somehow shield what he did. Now, he admitted what he did was wrong. He sought forgiveness. That's great. But to keep talking about God
and he did it
quote
in his victory
scummy.
speech, too, about, I don't have any interest in this guy. I'm just trying, everyone's hanging on him. But he said in his victory speech, he's like, well, God raised me above this.
But you know what? Hey, but wait a second. I want to move on. But I just want to say this. Maybe he believes it. That's what religion gives you, is that maybe he actually sincerely believes in second chances, which you are taught in religion, forgiveness and trying to be a better person. Maybe, I know, you're not talking about it, but, hey, look, there are a lot of atheists who drive you crazy because they won't shut up either. All right, from winning a seat to a really weird tweet. On Wednesday, Congress held hearings into the Benghazi attack that left 4 Americans dead. Hearings that featured whistleblowers criticizing the Obama administration's response to the terror assault. But as usual, the Washington Post, they led us to the real story, their Watergate. Yes, in the middle of the hearings, the paper that broke the Watergate scandal tweeted, "Who's tweeting about Benghazi? Rich middle-aged men and Chick-fil-A lovers." The source for this incredibly newsworthy information is a Twitter analytics company called Demographics Pro. But interestingly, the post left out some other tidbits about the Benghazi tweeters, including that people in this group work as authors/writers, lawyers, senior managers, and journalists. The group has an exceptionally high concentration of members of the military. Yep, definitely more relevant to mention a fast food joint than military service. Anyway, instead of this mess, you know what I'd rather focus on? This. See, it's getting worse. Now there's more ducks and there's more cats.
Polygamy.
It's good. It's all, yeah, it's now polygamy and interspecies, whatever. Thank you, whoever you are. All right, Monahan.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
not my name.
I know,
yes.
Moynihan.
You were very, shaken up by that cat Caligula scene.
Cat Ligula. I smell a new porn.
Oh,
one that I would invest in.
That's Andy's Sunday. All right. Do you think that the Post's decision to mention Chick-fil-A and not military membership was completely arbitrary?
Yeah, it's just random. I don't know why they did that. And besides, it's the total shocking news that a story that is making the administration look bad is being heavily touted by people on the other side. I mean, a shocking bit of news. The one tiny thing that I'll come to their defense on one thing. The people who run the Twitter accounts at newspapers and magazines tend to be the lowest person on the totem pole.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of oversight. So I'm not sure if that was up the chain. Someone would have said that's a good idea. It's no excuse. And it's a non-story.
Yeah.
It is say that people care about Benghazi who are also Republicans, is what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. But it said they
shop at Walmart and all
Yeah,
this
they do
stuff,
the shorthand stuff. A bunch of redneck people who hate gays is basically what they said, Jedediah. Speaking of, I was talking about you. Were they just trying to get the focus off their hero, Obama, who obviously deserves impeachment?
What you said was interesting, Mike, actually, that if the people, you're running a major publication, if you hire people, put them at the lowest level of the totem pole, don't know what they're doing, they have the potential to discredit your entire organization just with a tweet, which
like
is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is why you don't run the RedEye feed.
There's a RedEye feed? I gotta go to these
This is why
meetings.
you're kept separate from it. But yeah, I mean, this was ridiculous. This was an effort to all of a sudden stigmatize this small segment of the population over here are the only ones who care about Benghazi. I was actually happy to see people all over, all sides of the political spectrum today tweeting about it. People who weren't concerned about it before heard this testimony today and woke up and said, something's going on here. We need to hold Hillary Clinton accountable. We need to hold the administration accountable. So not only do I think this is stupid, but I think they're wrong.
What do you think, Patrick? Was this just an attempt to say nothing here, nothing to see here, America, move along?
Well, if the Washington Post had exhibited this same type of intellectual curiosity in 1973, Nixon would have been the two-term president.
Yeah,
and that's the same for the mainstream media. And this is, look, we're doing exactly what they wanted, and this is a distraction. I don't give it to the lower level. I think that we were proving. All the people that have kept this story alive, there's a real story there. Yeah. And the testimony today was riveting. And it basically it's made Hillary Clinton be a liar. And it shows that Obama has no foreign policy. And they tried to find something. They mentioned Chick-fil-A. I mean, please, if you've never had Chick-fil-A, it is the food of the gods. But this was an attempted distraction, and I hope it doesn't work.
You know, Bill, demographics also did people who use the hashtag Bill Schultz, and they found that they share a couple of things in common. They live in alleys, and they collect twine.
That's a terrible thing to say about the head of Amtrak PR, Bill Schultz. I happen to get the Twitter name first, but we're talking about Bill Schultz, the head of PR for Amtrak. I apologize, sir. That was scurrilous.
You don't even know what scurrilous means.
I think it's the same word as besmirch.
All right. From Benghazi to Ben Purring. They put the tail in tailing. Yep, the CIA apparently tried to turn house cats into spies in the 1960s. Popular Science magazine reports that Operation Acoustic Kitty, as it was called, aimed to turn a furball into a feline James Bond by, quote, implanting a microphone in her ear canal and a small radio transmitter at the base of her skull. I did this to my aunt once. And weaving a thin wire antenna into her long gray and white fur. It was my aunt. But the CIA quickly learned that cats aren't really interested in espionage. On its first test, the cyborg cat was tasked with capturing the conversation of two men on a park bench, but it quickly got bored. It wandered into the street and got run over by a taxi.
Aww.
Sad, Jedediah. You're a phony. Soon after the program was abandoned, or was it? More recently, the CIA has tried to turn canines into spies, training them to blend into their surroundings. I believe we have some tape. It's adorable, but it's also disturbing because we have no idea what that poor dog is
It was on a little globe.
You know what that was? That was scurrilous.
Yeah, it was scurrilous. Jedediah, we have better technology now than we did back then. Should we reopen this cat spy program?
Cats don't obey orders. I mean, and much like me, they love distraction. So of all animals you can pick, I was surprised they would choose a cat. I mean, cats are known to be defiant. They're independent.
But that makes
they
a great
get distracted.
agent.
Yeah, but they don't like
Yes.
to pay attention. You know, a taxi cab or a bright light flashes and they stare at it kind of like I do.
I'm
So this
sorry.
makes them a bad candidate.
I saw The Bourne Identity and The Bourne Supremacy, and a cat is much better than Matt Damon.
Cat Damon.
That might be
Cat
true.
Damon.
Cat Damon will be the successor in the cat version.
I think
of
that
Bourne
would be
Identity.
amazing. That would be totally scurrilous and besmirchable. Mike, is this further proof that cats can't be trusted, like Jedediah would say, considering she hates all animals?
Can I say that it's maybe further evidence that CIA can't be trusted? I mean, they've been so bad. I love the description of this because, you know, it's not a bad idea. And, you know, if you just, like, don't think about it too much, it's not a bad idea. But they said they put it, you know, a thing in its ear and then this pack on its back and wires down it. And it's like, just send it into, you know, KGB headquarters.
Yeah.
You know, it means that everyone in the CIA is a bit, or they were at one point, a bit soft.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, you know, beards.
And don't they think that some guy's going to want to search the cat for a wire? Hey! No, it's like, get out of that vittles and come over here. Vittles. I don't know what I'm talking about. Patrick.
That's what they eat.
Yeah, they even eat vittles. Tender
They
vittles.
enjoy vittles.
Tender
We have
vittles.
vittles in Georgia.
Yeah, Patrick, cats have great lives, but with great lives come great responsibility. Isn't it time they pay back America for just living off us?
Can I yield my time to Bill for the obligatory reference to the Bond girl in this? Oh!
I didn't even think about that. Although I still, even though that's her name, and it's been used many times on TBS, lots of reruns, I feel uncomfortable saying her name.
That's good.
In that James Bond movie. But I will say Octopussy.
All right, Patrick, so you don't want to respond to this?
Well, no, it's unfortunately, don't you think that somebody in the CIA in the 60s actually saw the Bond movie where the bad guy was petting a cat, and they're like, oh, bad guys and cats. That's what we're going to do now.
Cats get the cat. Yes, exactly. That's how it happened. Bill, here's the point. Animals don't do enough for us. They should be earning their keep. If we don't eat you, then you should help us.
Yes, I agree with that. They are clearly still spies because what other purpose does a cat serve?
Yes.
What do they do?
Ask Andy. It doesn't make Andy's life
half
happier.
the time they won't even let you pet them.
Yeah.
So therefore they can have bugs all over them. We're never going to be able to touch them. We've used dolphins. The military does use dolphins. We've used horses. I believe Spielberg did a film on this. And if he wants a sequel, cat spies.
Yeah.
Make it happen and use CGI because you can't train a cat.
And they've done a lot of things. They shrunk kids, which was, I think, a spy thing.
Yes,
Shrink
Harold
kids.
Ramis. They hired
They
Rick
made
Moranis
Ghostbusters that could help people find ghosts.
Yeah.
And then there was that whole E.T. guy that was on a bicycle that helped fight World War II.
But you know what I don't like? What they did in Pandora when they murdered all those blue people?
Yeah, that was awful.
I didn't like that.
Awful. That was in the 50s.
Yeah.
That segment should win a Pulitzer. Those
Yeah,
questions, those
Or a
responses.
Pauslitzer.
Oh my God.
All right, coming up. What does Pol Pot, Stalin, and Charles Manson have in common? Jedediah Bill discusses her new book, People Who Inspire Me. That's sick, Jedediah. But first, can carrying a guitar case help you win a date? Maybe I just use mine to transport my collection of doll heads.